Years ago, you would think, people at 40 were pretty much done. Not anymore. Not with the new technology, the innovation, the supplements, the training, the styles. It's all about consistency. So you can improve at any age. And in fact, the nutrients are so important. So let's start with the food-based nutrients. Do you take any shakes or protein powders?
As a matter of fact, I do. That's a great setup. I have one right here.
Welcome to the Holistic Truth Podcast. I'm Jamie Dorley, CEO of Nutritional Frontiers.
And I'm Kristine Genovese, creator of the Soul Intelligence Method. We're here to help you break through chronic disease and dysfunction physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically.
With real proven strategies, protocols, and tools you can use in your practice today. Hey, Kristine, I'm so excited. We're going to talk about one of your favorite topics today, fitness.
Like working out, fitness?
Well, fun fitness. You could work out in the gym, yoga, Pilates. You could even play tennis like you do. You would know as a former state champion and future national champion. Welcome back, Kristine. How we doing?
I'm doing great, James. Good to hear you.
I'm so excited to talk about this because fitness has been a big part of my life and yours. And, I think a lot of people still look at fitness as a punishment. They have to work out in the gym, but not anymore. You can do it anywhere you like. And I know that you've been an athlete your whole life. And, we want people to have fitness as a part of their life and make it really fun. Don't you feel like when it's fun, people will do it more?
Absolutely. Well, I know it's one of the, movement is a big part of one of the reasons why people have dis-ease or dysfunction in the body. So the more we can move our bodies, the better off we're going to be. And you know me, if it's energy is not in motion, we've got a problem. So how does energy move through the body?
Well, that's the cool part about it, right? It's one of our foundations. Dr. Bob's Magnificent Seven is a movement. And they say nowadays, the new smoking is actually sitting, right? People have a very sedentary lifestyle. So we want people to move and have fun. And we want it to be part of their everyday life, not something they do for a few weeks to try and lose weight, but really for the mind, body, and soul, right? And I know that's a big part of your program.
Absolutely. Well, I know we've got different types of activity. There's aerobic, right? And anaerobic.
Yeah, I'll make it really simple for people. Aerobic is really more of a duration, long term. It's at a moderate pace. Think of someone walking or jogging, and then you have the anaerobic is more of the short duration, more intense. That would be like a tennis or weightlifting, or you do some kind of machine, some type of resistance training, but you need a combination of both. Aerobic really means with oxygen as your fuel source, where anaerobic is going to be lesser utilizing the oxygen capacity, but more using the ATP or the adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy used when you're lifting weights or doing some type of physical activity. And in fact, I really prefer like a cross training where you do both. That's where you're doing the weights, but you're doing it at a higher intensity, a faster pace with lower rest. So you are getting the heart rate up. So it all goes down to really heart rate. And there's a little bit of misunderstandings with this because what people think is, I'll do aerobics to burn fat. Have you ever heard that before?
Yes.
And I'll do weights to build the muscle. In fact, the percentage of fat you'll burn is higher, but the amount of fat you burn with weights is going to be higher. So I really like a combination of both. And it really has to be about consistency. The intensity is important, but the consistency, and you have to find things you're going to enjoy and stuff you're going to do all the time. So what are some of your workouts or what are your fitness activities?
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm a big tennis player, so that takes up most of my time.
Oh, you did play recently?
I did play recently.
And how did you do?
I did very well. I actually had a killer weekend. I had a match on Saturday and a match on Sunday and smoked both of them. I was playing 7-5 tennis, which is really fun, that level. And we won 6-2, 6-0 on Saturday and then 6-2, 6-2 on Sunday. So that's pretty handy, especially in 100-degree heat in Florida, let me tell you.
Yeah, I've seen you guys play. It's really cool because it's not only the community, but you can see how fun, it's competitive, exciting. I know you even cheer when you're not playing or you finish your match. And, I think that's one of the cool things you've always shared with me is the camaraderie of, all the girls and guys, because you play mixed and you play female groups. So it's a lot of fun. Even with me, like I like to go to the gym, but, I've been doing Pilates where it's in a group environment. So again, it's all about consistency, and your body doesn't know if you're doing tennis or weights or machines. It only knows stress, and you got to make it intense. So if you're walking, walk like you're late for a meeting, right? And if you're on a Stairmaster or you're doing weights, you should be breathing a little more heavily. However, you want to train within a zone. It's more important to train in the zone long term than it is to do something so intense that you're not going to continue to do that. So with aerobic and anaerobic.
Well, I remember I was at my chiropractor because, I believe in the biomechanical adjustment as much as a bioenergetic adjustment, like I do with soul intelligence. And he says to me, he goes, "So what are you doing for strength training?" I go, "Tennis." He goes, "No, strength training." I said, "Tennis." So I know you've been really kind about putting together a program for me to follow, to try and actually do some real strength training. And what I was most surprised about is I didn't need to use really heavy weights. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I obviously had a very big misconception.
Well, you had a great trainer, right? So, they're part of it. I always encourage people that if you're going to pick up golf or tennis or weight training, get with a professional. They're going to save you a lot of time and money. And nobody's ever quit working out because they got in too good a shape. The reason people quit is they're not getting the results. And I always tell people, look, especially for your type of goals, right? You're not lifting weights. You're not a weightlifter. What you do is you're training the muscle. So there's a way to train the muscle versus just lifting the weight. In fact, at my level and what my experience right now in my training is that I use less weight than I used to, but I'm really focused on the contraction of the muscle, doing it in a healthy way, doing it in a safe way. And it's called continuous tension, so that you're really working those muscle groups so that, you're not putting too much strain on the joints. So
I also thought it was fascinating, like how much muscle is associated with healthy aging or like rolling the clock back. That like building that muscle is so important.
yeah, and only this research is showing only about 25%, so 1 out of 4. There's 4 of us here, like in the studio and you. So only one of us is getting the adequate amount of anaerobic and aerobic training to meet the guidelines of what they would consider in good shape, right?
All right. Well, my money's on you out of the 4.
Well, this group is a little more advanced. But seriously, if you want to look at one variable of aging, it's how much muscle have you lost and bone. Because in fact, when I was starting out as a trainer, a lot of my clients were 40 to 60, mostly females that were concerned about osteopenia and osteoporosis. So I'd set them up on a training program for that. We used to think that you can only gain muscle up until about age 40. They've done research now up to about 90 years of age in the hospital environment with some type of physical activity and the right nutrients. They can show a anabolic effect. Anabolic means muscle producing. So it's never too late. In fact, I know, from the limited time you were doing it, you can see the difference, couldn't you, in your arms?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's cool when you see that, right? Because you're getting results. When you do it right with the right diet, you should get results. It shouldn't take years to do. When you look at overall, we're just talking about this, right? But people really peak somewhere in that like 18 to 34-year-old age group. And I was talking to some friends over the weekend.
Well, we're out of luck. And we're already over the hill.
Oh, no. According to the research, but it doesn't mean everybody, right? This is just showing most people will hit that peak, 40% of people, but
we always say we're peaking now. What are you talking about?
I said 21% of people peak in our age group. And I really feel like that. I think because you have experience, the consistency of the diet, the training, the sleep, the supplements, that is the number one differentiator. It's not how intense you do it right away. It's the consistency long term, doing it over and over and over and over again. When you continue to build up those reps over a period of time, those mileage, if you're on a bike or walking or running or tennis matches, that's really where you start to see that you can excel at a much higher level. And there's people that I know in their 60s, 70s, and even some in their 80s that are doing great. I was at the Masters bodybuilding competition, and Jim Manuel was asking what I thought. I go, Jim, the only group I could win would be 80 and over. I said, these 70-year-old guys are fantastic. So it gives me a breath of fresh air. And like, Years ago, you would think, people at 40 were pretty much done. Not anymore. Not with the new technology, the innovation, the supplements, the training, the styles. It's all about consistency. So you can improve at any age. And in fact, the nutrients are so important. So let's start with the food-based nutrients. Do you take any shakes or protein powders?
As a matter of fact, I do. That's a great setup. I have one right here.
Which one is that?
Well, we're talking about our clean collagen protein, I think. So I've got the clean collagen protein in here, along with a little bit of Pro Reds, actually. Because little bit, a raspberry chocolate martini. That's my style today.
Look, you haven't done protein shakes your whole life like I have. Most people say, oh, the shakes don't taste good. How do these taste to you?
They taste delicious. I think that's a big part of what we do at Nutritional Frontiers, right? We want to make sure that what we put out tastes good and that people will take it, right? If it tastes bad, no one's going to do it.
Yeah, I know you do a lot of energy work with the Soul Intelligence. Can you explain a little bit about how the energy of the food and the supplements affects the soul?
Well, I mean, if you think about your body as like a computer, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So if you're not feeding your body and giving it what it needs in order to run appropriately or effectively, you're going to get run down, right? And so if we just think about how we consume energy, or just think about the adrenals, right? The adrenal glands are directly linked to your energy. And if you're hypo, that makes somebody feel tired, like hypoactivity, right? A lack of energy, maybe a loss of libido. What that means from an energetic perspective is that you might feel a loss from like a group or family, maybe scared, having this extreme tiredness or lack of vitality, or a lack of energy or fatigue, right? Sometimes we're emotionally unbalanced and unstable. Like one moment we're okay, the next minute we're not. Just kind of feeling stuck in that fight or flight. The converse of that, right, is hyperactivity, where you're constantly on, right? That's excessive fear of things that haven't happened yet. Sometimes the person is afraid of those things occurring. So when we're trying to manage our energy and our energy intake, it's not just during fitness, but we do have options for people to take to try and help with managing their energy and their adrenals. A couple of my favorites happen to be on this slide right here, Pro Oranges, as well as our Power Fuel. And Pro Oranges is great for mitochondrial function. And I know you're going to talk a lot more about it, but also our Power Fuel is our electrolyte drink, our electrolyte blend. Both of those things, plus our Vanilla Super Shake, is my absolute go-to orange dreamsicle on the tennis court. And I will tell you, I played in 100-degree heat. It was a record temperature this weekend in Tampa. I played at like 10:30, between 10:30 and 12:30 on Sunday. Most people were dying. They were gassed. I drank all my water, my one shake, and I felt fine. I couldn't believe it. And thank goodness I didn't have to go a third set, but 2 sets and I was solid.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the new innovation with shakes. The clean collagen protein is actually from a hypoallergenic beef protein. We'll talk about that with a fruit and veggie blend with the oranges, but we don't stop there. We added in Sensoril, which is a patented research trademark form of ashwagandha that is really good for the adrenals and blood sugar. And then we have the branched chains, the creatine. I'm going to talk about these a little more in depth, but always start with your food-based supplements because food is information. So when you have that first meal of the day, I know you always start the day with a shake, and so do I. You start the day with a shake. What it does is it tells your body metabolically what to do because food is information, right? You talk about a computer. So when you give your body the clean collagen with a scoop of oranges, what does it tell the body? Well, it tells the body to raise blood sugar a little bit, which is normal, a little bit of insulin release, and then insulin is going to drive those nutrients inside the cell. You mentioned the mitochondria, the blast furnace. That's where they all get burned. It's like your fireplace. And what happens now is your energy goes up. Fat burning goes up. Cravings are eliminated, right? And you don't store any fat. So how do you feel?
I feel great.
You feel fantastic, right? And if you start your day with high sugar, maybe Fruity Pebbles, right? Or people do these breakfast bars or muffins or donuts or even fruit, you have a big rise in blood sugar, a huge uprise in insulin. And now insulin's got to do something with all that sugar. And what does it do with it? a lot of it gets converted as fat. So you go from higher sugar even to moderate sugar, but the fluctuation is so great. How do you feel?
Not
Oh,
great.
no, what are you craving? Sugar,
Yeah.
nicotine, caffeine, right? You see this at people outside the office buildings. And now you become a fat storage machine. So if you learn one thing today, start every day with a shake. We call it the Shake a Day Club. We're lifetime members. And what you do is you tell your body metabolically to increase the metabolism in one meal, increase fat burning, increase energy, and eliminate cravings. Who doesn't want that?
Sounds like a plan to me.
So let's break down the clean collagen protein. You love the way it tastes, right?
Yeah, it's a light cacao flavor. And a little birdie told me we have another popular flavor coming out really soon called Rocket Pop. Remember those bomb pops as a kid, the red, white, and blue ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have another flavor in the pipeline that's hopefully should debut later this year.
So this is like when the bomb pop starts to melt. You kind of get that little juice off there, and we made it into a shake. I mean, this is incredible, right?
Yeah.
Oh, to make it fun and easy. It's not a punishment to be in shape, okay? And if you had setbacks, get right back on the bike. And hydro beef, the protein that's in the clean collagen, is hypoallergenic. What does that mean, Christine?
It means that people aren't allergic to it.
Yeah, no milk, no lactose,
Right.
no soy. You don't even have stevia in this one. We don't have any artificial sweeteners. So it digests really nice. It has the MCT oil in it. It has the collagen protein in it. Collagen is great for muscle repair, but also skin. And look at your skin.
Yep. In general, pretty good stuff. Yeah, I get a lot of compliments on my skin, actually.
So you can use the clean collagen protein as a base for your shake. Then you can customize it and support it with other nutrients. And one of the best things to do is the Pro Oranges. So these are fruit and veggie based powders. We have 5 different ones. And the orange is really cool for energy, blood sugar, weight, and adrenal function. So how's the oranges taste to you?
I love the oranges. As a matter of fact, when I typically blend it with our vanilla super shake because then it tastes like an orange. Speaking of pops, orange dreamsicle pop.
Oh, it goes back to the ice cream man in Queens, right? For us. Yeah.
Totally.
So I love this one because you can use it as a hydrating drink because we all suffer from one thing across the board, flavor fatigue. Water gets a little boring. Vanilla shakes get a little boring. So why not put in things like the Pro Oranges to help fortify your water? So you can use it as a standalone, as a drink, especially in the afternoon. But I always like putting a scoop of protein with it to get the extra protein for rebuilding my muscle and my tissue. You can also replace your energy drinks. Do you know if you consume energy drinks, you increase your risk of stroke by 500%?
Oh my gosh. And so many people are on those energy drinks.
Some people we know, too. I'm not real happy about it.
I know. I know.
The base,
Terrible.
the clean collagen, do your shake a day, folks. If you do that for 30 days, I guarantee your body will start to change. You will eat less food. You won't crave the bad foods. You have high energy. You'll start burning some fat. So Frontier BCAA, branched chain amino acids. Think of protein as an alphabet, and amino acids are the letters. And there's certain letters like the vowels in a school that are a little more important than some of the other letters, and they're used more frequently. The branched chain amino acids are like the vowels in the body and the alphabet, right? So you need these because they are required to prevent a catabolic state, is where you break down muscle tissue. I'm thinking of it like an overdraft protection for your checking account, right? Keep writing those checks and then we dip in. So if you skip meals, if you don't ingest enough protein, you can start breaking down muscle tissue. And that's one of the biggest concerns for anybody who's trying to get leaner and better shape. So the branch chains are really cool because the muscle will hold especially about 70% of the amino acids inside the muscle tissue. And when you take the branch chains, what you're doing is you're helping preserve that muscle tissue, you're preventing catabolism, and also you're improving recovery, right? So you want to make sure you're eating and drinking for performance, but also afterwards for recovery. So those are some of the bases. One of my favorites I've been using again is the super creatine. Have you used this before?
I have. Super creatine tastes really good too. It's got a raspberry flavor to it. So sometimes I'll switch up my drink on the court and I'll use our vanilla super shake with the super creatine raspberry in it and the raspberry power fuel, because our power fuel comes in both orange and raspberry. So sometimes, depending, I might switch it up for a little bit more muscle support.
Yeah, Nutritional Frontiers, we're known for formulations. There's a lot of creatine products on the market, mostly creatine monohydrate. I've been working with creatine for over 30 years. Creatine monohydrate actually converts in an acidic body.
Sure.
So what we do is we use a PRT called creatine magna power. It's actually bound to magnesium bisglycinate. Why do we do that? To help.
Because it's more stable.
There we go. But we didn't stop there. We actually put in a basic glutamine. Glutamine is the number one amino acid in muscle to prevent breakdown. Also really good for the intestinal tract because that's a muscle too. That's why we put in GI Complete. So we have that to help preserve the muscle tissue. Creatine provides the extra phosphate molecules. So when you go to ATP, triphosphate, 3 molecules, and you start doing your workout with your curls and you start to get tired, that triphosphate's breaking down to diphosphate. So the creatine adds a phosphate molecule back on. So what happens is you go a little bit longer and a little bit stronger. We also use cell volumizers like chromium, alpha lipoic acid, vanadyl sulfate. These all drive the nutrients inside the muscle because it's very difficult to get them in there. And we have circulation factors like citrulline, arginine, and bee powder. So this is an incredible formulation. It's not just creatine. That's why we call it super creatine. Safe for people because we use a lower dosage. The creatine magna power is 10 times more bioavailable than regular creatine.
Well, one of the cool things I learned about using our super creatine too is that we've had a number of chiropractors start to use it with their patients, especially older patients, to help them build muscle, right? Because as you were talking about, as we age, it can sometimes be more challenging, and that this is a really great support for that.
Yeah, and the newest thing with creatine, all the new research is on brain health, right?
Mm-hmm.
You live long enough, eventually the brain is going to decline, maybe in some people quicker than the body.
It is a muscle.
Yes, it is. Number one. So and the brain actually uses about 30% of all your energy every day. So when someone says they're tired these days, I usually ask them physically or mentally. And they have to think for a minute, right? So I know the answer because they're not doing anything physically. So those are all great formulas. We've got the clean collagen protein. We have the oranges. We have the super creatine. We have the branch chains. And now Power Fuel. So I'm going to take a step back because we have the queen of Power Fuel here. Let's hear your experience with Power Fuel one more time. Playing in 100-degree heat. The hottest day on record in Tampa yesterday. I can kick butt on the tennis court.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because I see what people take on the tennis court. You know, people use sometimes those gels that they find and, oh, I found this other little thing and add to my water or whatever. Somebody was doing watered down Gatorade. They were all gassed, okay? And I'm like, oh, well, I should tell you what I do. And I should share with you what I'm drinking. And I told them about Power Fuel, you know, and how it helps with ATP production and cellular energy production. And obviously athletic performance and muscle repair. I didn't even feel that bad. My tennis partner on Sunday said he totally passed out when he got home. He was exhausted. The other guy I watched go 3 sets said he had to take a nap and crash. I was like, I'm good.
Nice.
I'm like, got cleaned up. I had work around the house to do. I was fine. Everyone's like, are you insane? I am telling you, the difference is the supplements. There's no question.
Another example, this is 5 products in one. You get D-ribose, which is sold by itself. That is a sugar that quickly builds ATP production, has no impact on blood sugar. We have the electrolyte blend. So there are some good nutrients in Gatorade, but a lot of toxins. So this takes those mineral electrolytes, and we have the entire blend in here. We're increasing circulation again with arginine, citrulline. And then we have the cofactor of DMG, dimethylglycine. The thing that's really cool about Power Fuel is it inhibits lactic acid buildup. You ever get really sore muscles?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't feel sore afterwards.
You want this, right? People have fibromyalgia, polymyalgia, restless leg syndrome. Power Fuel is the solution to all those things. So we got a great lineup of formulas. You don't have to use them all, but I like doing the shake and then adding in, like right now, I'm doing the super creatine and the pro reds with the shake. So
Well, it's working out. Let's see the guns.
guns.
Guns out. Awesome.
So
Well,
let's make fitness fun, right? And, remember, it's all about consistency. If you don't have a professional, hire one, even short term. You can also pick up a lot of exercises online now. And try and find something that you're going to really enjoy. It doesn't mean every minute you're going to want to do it. The other thing is those days I wake up and I feel sore, tired, fat, lazy, whatever it is, I ask myself one question. Will I feel better after my workout? And the answer is always what?
yes.
And the price is still the same. The price is pain. Pain of discipline or pain of regret. The choice is yours.
All right. Well, until next time, James.
Thanks, Kristine. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in to the Holistic Truth Podcast.
If this episode spoke to you, please follow the show and share it with someone ready to take charge of their well-being. And if you can, leave us a review. It helps others find our podcast.
For more tools and practitioner support, visit nutritionalfrontiers.com.